What up, though, Lions fans? Allow me to reintroduce myself. My name is Don. M to the OP. Anyway, Motor City Cats are back at it. Came to give you stats, not static. Whatever you do, make sure you keep your Lions news pragmatic. Since all of y'all loved my freestyle the other day about J-Mo, man, maybe I should just create an intro, you know. Motor City Cats back at it. Came to give you anyway. So we got some things that we're gonna get into today. We're gonna be talking about some trash talk. We're gonna be talking about some bulletin board material. The Lions are notorious for not giving it, but maybe they have given it this time around. And looking deeper into the playoffs and things of that nature, I don't know if it matters, but Kirby was talking choppy. He was talking cash. He was throwing some spice on that thing, throwing that stank on ya. But Kirby is very, very justified. I don't know if everyone checked out my video that I did about Kirby Joseph being snubbed from the Pro Bowl. But it's all Matthew Stafford's fault. Kirby knows it's Matthew Stafford's fault. Aaron Glenn knows it's Matthew Stafford's fault. Aaron Glenn was at the podium. What up, though, Precision Staining? Aaron Glenn was at the podium, and he said, we know why he's not a Pro Bowler. He said, we know what that is. And that's Matthew Stafford. So Kirby Joseph throws the F Stafford on his IG story. And if we have to play Stafford in the playoffs again, we do not care. I don't think that you're giving that guy any bulletin board material. He knows what he has done. If you try to use that as extra motivation, I don't see where you're coming from. It's like Stafford's going, oh, F me, F you. Okay. All right. Okay. Y'all going to try to do this to me? Yeah. You'll be playing football in Pelican Bay when I'm through with you. No. What else, Salty Pork Chops? Yes, Kirby lost $3.82 million due to not getting a Pro Bowl selection. So I was off. I said 3.7, but I said it was upwards of $4 million. So I think Kirby is 100% justified in talking about that. Again, I'll give you the Cliff Notes version of the video that I made about the situation. I said that basically Matthew Stafford, is it Matthew John Stafford? I guess that's his name, or John Matthew Stafford. I think it's John Matthew, right? He doesn't go by his first name. I don't know. But that man is no longer allowed in Detroit until he goes to supermotion.com and purchases $3.82 million worth of Super Motion merch to reimburse Kirby Joseph for what he has given up. And I said it was $4 million worth of merch. That's what he should do. If he does that, then his apology is accepted. And if he wants to retire a Lion, maybe. I don't know. Currently, not in favor. I only know one number 9, and that is J-Mo. So that is the Kirby Joseph situation. I believe Stafford's ACLs are now in question. Well, apparently, Kirby's dirty, even though, Tucker Kraft, who had that fake tough guy take, and he was going to get hands on Kirby, and he got blown up by Trevor Nowatzki. But he's the one that actually injured someone this season. So, it is what it is. You put things out there in the ether, and when they're not correct, it comes back to you. Whatever you believe in, if you're a person that believes in karma, if you're a person that believes in God, whatever you believe in, one thing is for sure, that it often doesn't pay to be an ass or a bad human being, or you know what I mean? It generally comes back, however that may be. So Kirby gonna get his payback, whether in cash or in blood. We're going a little bit too far now. We're going a little bit too far. But the big issue right here, right now, the man who's talking the talk, and we hope that he can walk the walk, is none other than Terrion Arnold. Now, I don't subscribe to giving teams bulletin board material. I've said all along that this is why the Detroit Lions have the upper hand. This is why the Detroit Lions are a better team culturally for sure than other teams, because they internalize all the crap talk that other teams, that national media members, and so on and so forth, send their way. What up, though, Tactical Sport? Now, Terrion Arnold has jumped on the train, and he has said, we're a bad matchup for the Minnesota Vikings. They've got good pass catchers, but we've got cover guys. There is in no world a cover guy that can single-handedly shut down Justin Jefferson. It just doesn't happen in the NFL. It doesn't happen. I'm gonna be straight up with you. I was a lockdown cornerback in high school. I don't remember allowing interceptions. People would not throw my way. I made a lot of tackles across field because my running mate on the other side was awful, and they were just like, we're not going to throw it over there to Don P. We're just going to throw it to the other guy. That being said, that's high school. I don't think, and I'm not in the NFL, didn't get to the NFL. In my mind, I don't think that I would have a chance of locking down Justin Jefferson. I know my skills. He's a professional. Terrion Arnold is a professional as well, but he's also a rookie. And he didn't say anything directly to Justin Jefferson. He didn't say, I'm looking forward to locking down Justin Jefferson, yada, yada, yada. He didn't call him out by name. But who are you talking about? Jordan Addison's good. TJ Hawkinson's good. Okay. But Justin Jefferson is great. So maybe if you look at it that way, I said they had good pass catchers. I was only talking about TJ and, TJ and Jordan Addison, the sons of Minnesota, two of the three sons. I wasn't talking about all of them. But, if Terrion, I think Terrion and Kirby and Terrion and Brian, they did quite a good job last time in Minnesota of containing Justin Jefferson. I think he only had 81 yards. And then we could say, well, the defensive line. Well, no, the defensive line was it Josh Pascal and who was on the other side? Because that was the first game that we played without Hutch. So who was on the other side? Josh Pascal and Levi Onwuzurike. Of course, we still had Aleem and DJ. Now we just have DJ. And then we've got Zadarius Smith instead of Marcus Davenport. We didn't have Marcus Davenport last time we played the Vikings either. So, I mean, there is a chance. There is a chance that you could see a similar situation, whatever the containment is going to be with Justin Jefferson, and then there's going to need to be some adjustments made because you can't really continue to throw the same things at people and think that they won't adjust, because obviously the first thing that they're going to do, aside from looking at other games that the Detroit Lions play, they're going to go back and look at the game that they played against them in, was it week 6, I believe? Week 6 or week 7? Might have been week 7, right? They were 5-0. I think they were coming off. Were they coming off their bye? Or we were coming off of our bye? Anyway, either way, they're gonna look back at that and pick up your keys and your tendencies and see what you like to do, and they're gonna study that tape, and they're gonna okay, we can get better here, and then they're also gonna look at other things. The San Francisco 49ers game, recent games from the Detroit Lions. So Do I like it in particular? No, I'm not a big poke the bear type of guy. I love that he has the confidence, and I hope it shows through on the field. And I'm not gonna say he's given any bulletin board material because he really didn't say anything. Other than the only thing that they could take out of that would be like, oh, we're a bad matchup for the Vikings, and then they'd be like, oh, okay, you think we're bad. So like that one, you know, that was the whole Pelican Bay thing. You think you could do this to me? I have y'all playing football in Pelican Bay when I'm done with you. Shout out. If you know, you know. Use the hashtag. But it's the messenger. It's the messenger. I've had good things to say about Terrion this season. I've talked about his coverage being very sticky. I've had praise for him, you know, and I've had patience for him because he is a rookie. And I truly believe, and I said this yesterday. I was on Lions Nation Unite with Herman Moore. Shout out Herman. Appreciate the opportunity for allowing me to come through and talk ball. And there was Anthony from Roar of the Lions UK. He was there as well. So I said that I believe that the thing with Terrion Arnold is that he needs to just, there's two things. He needs to start getting his head around, looking for the ball. Those interceptions will come. You know, he had 5 interceptions his senior year at Alabama. And if he wants to get interceptions in the NFL, he's going to have to start looking for the ball. The other thing is that he's just going to have to trust his technique. If he does those two things, one, he's going to get the interceptions. 2, he's going to stop getting the penalties because he won't get grabby. He just looks like, oh, ish, I'm about to get beat. Let me grab on. Let me latch on. And that's what I think about Terrion Arnold. But I just, we know what it's going to be. We know the context that it's going to be taken in. And with these great players, you don't need much. I mean, we all saw the Last Dance documentary. We all saw how Jordan, like, you could say hello to Jordan in a supermarket and you could wave but not wave long enough, and he'd be like, I took that personally. You know what I'm saying? And then I went out and dropped 50 on somebody the next day. So it didn't take much. And JJ has never been shut down before in, you know, against Detroit versus one-on-one coverage. Again, I keep going back to the Jeff Okudah game. That wasn't Jeff Okudah by himself. And if you still believe that to this day, that you're delusional. I don't know what else to say for you or to you. I can't help you. If you think that Justin Jefferson was locked down by Jeff Okudah one-on-one without safety help over the top, you need to seek safety help. And your safety help is a psychiatrist, a shrink, whatever you want to call him. Tactical Sports says, yeah, I'd rather not say that. Yeah. So just Byron Murphy, and I keep harping on Byron Murphy, but Byron Murphy he was the one. Okay. Byron Murphy was the guy that had all the talk, and he was providing the Lions with all of the bulletin board material, and the Lions weren't saying anything back. I mean, if you look at the press conferences, the media availability, the Lions players, whether it's Jared Goff, whether it's Amon-Ra St. Brown, whether it's Taylor Decker or Frank Ragnow or, you know, anybody, they're just very complimentary of the Minnesota Vikings, and this is how you should be. Even if behind the smile, you're like, boy, I'm about to tear the boy, they don't know I got something in store for them. Boy, I'm about to get, whoa, BTA. Like, you could be thinking that behind the smile and behind the professionalism, and that's what every athlete thinks, right? Unless you are in New York and you're Sauce Gardner and you know the situation that you're in and you're not going to recruit anybody to come to New York to play for your organization, unless you're in a situation like that, you think you can beat everybody. Or if you are a team like the 0-16 Lions, when they went out, they felt that they could beat everybody. But when you start off 0-8, all right, that ninth game, things start getting away from you, and you're like, here we go again. As opposed to a Lions team like this, who's 14-2, and you've gone into Minnesota and got down by 10, and you were like, we good, we got it. Right? So it goes a long way for confidence. I just don't think that Terrion Arnold should have said it, but he said it. And now you gotta say it with your chest. You gotta go out there and you gotta show and prove, and you gotta do what you said you're gonna do. You have to prove that you're a bad matchup for the Detroit Lions, for the Minnesota Vikings. Just like Byron Murphy now has to prove that people shouldn't be talking about the Lions because the Vikings are better, which is basically what he said. And the national media has gone for it, and I get it as far as defensively. And there are some other things that people aren't really realizing. Like I said, defensively, yes, we're down Anzalone, but we may not be down Anzalone, right? If you heard Anzalone's press conference, he basically said, yeah, I'm not going to be ready. I'm not going to be healthy 100% until training camp. You know what I mean? Like, once I hit training camp of next year, I'll feel great. I'll feel fantastic. But as far as what he feels like now, and that was the thing, he was like, if I don't play this game, a reporter asked him, he was like, if you don't play this game, like, what is how much further are you going to be along with one more week? And he was like, yeah, and that's the thing, that like you have to look at the doctors and they'll be like, well, how much healing can happen in a week or 2 weeks, whatever. So we may have Anzalone. If we do have Anzalone, that's going to be huge because listen to me. Ezekiel Turner has been brutal in coverage. Jack Campbell hasn't been the greatest in coverage. I think that's a part of Jack Campbell's game that has to continue to evolve. But when you put Anzo back into the game plan, then he can handle Hawk. We got no problems with Anzo going against Hawk in coverage. Didn't JJ only have 80-something yards last game? Yes, he did. He did. And that's fine. We weren't talking. We weren't saying anything. Look, Justin Jefferson has been a Lions. He's been I can't call him a killer because he don't beat the Lions, but he is a thorn in the Lions' side. He went over 200 yards a couple years ago against us. So he's a torture, right? He torches us and he tortures us, but he doesn't win. And if you go off for damn near 250 yards and you don't win, that's fine. It's cool. All we care about is the dub. But if you can keep him below 80 and make everybody else work harder to try to get things going, I prefer that. That's what I prefer. All right. We're not switching gears. We're going to keep with this situation. But I don't know if you guys know this, and it's now seems to be par for the course. The national media is picking against us. The national media has counted us out. The national media has us as underdogs. Everybody's picking the Minnesota Vikings for reasons that I understand. Brian Flores' defense is great. Oh, my God. Pressure, pressure, pressure. Brian Flores has had this defense the entire season. They've had minimal injuries. I think Blake Cashman was out the first time We played against them, which is fine. Aidan Hutchinson was out the first time we played against them, so I mean that's a wash. It really doesn't matter. Pat Jones is going to be out this game because of Tucker Kraft's dirty ass. What up, though, Big Wolf status? So now you look at the scheme of Brian Flores and you go, oh man, because there's this stigma in the national media, there's this stigma in Vikings fans' heads, and this is the thing that wows me the most. Like, wow, okay, okay. Y'all think y'all can do this to me? Okay, all right, okay. I don't know why I'm so Denzel today. I can't tell you. I woke up Denzel. This is the thing that wows me the most. You look at Brian Flores and his defense and his scheme, and it's great. Do you know that as it currently sits, the Minnesota Vikings are, and I had the standings when I did the show the other day, but I didn't bother with them today because I remember what it is. I don't remember the total defensive ranking, but the Minnesota Vikings, with this phenomenal defense, all this pressure, and they're just bringing it. They let up 15 less yards per game than the Detroit Lions with this decimated defense. They let up 15 less yards per game. 15 less. When the Detroit Lions were allowed, when they were second in the league. Now, when we had all of this, our defense, all our pieces, even this was up until, not even pieces, right? Up until the Buffalo Bills game, right? We didn't have Anzo in that game. Up until the Buffalo Bills game, the Detroit Lions were second. We were tied with Philadelphia with total points allowed, which was 18 points per game. Okay, now we're in the 20s because we've had 48 put up on us by the Buffalo Bills. We had 34 put up on us by the San Francisco 49ers. Like but we know why. Let's see. I'm gonna get to your comments in a second. So we've seen all of this. Even at that time, when we were depleted on defense up until the game against the Bills, the Minnesota Vikings were still allowing more points than the Detroit Lions. Is this defense really that vaunted? It looks good on paper, but is it really as effective as everyone thinks? And then I got to thinking, well, Jared Goff had a pretty good game against the Vikings last time when we were in Minnesota. So I'm like, damn, what? Because we look at Justin Jefferson, right? When we say that Justin Jefferson torches the Detroit Lions, what about Jared Goff to the Minnesota Vikings? Jared Goff in his career, and this is only 2 games in LA, Jared Goff in his career against the Minnesota Vikings has a passer rating of 107.3 with 2,653 yards, 17 touchdowns, and 3 interceptions in 9 games against the Minnesota Vikings. 7 of those games are in as a Detroit Lion. 7 of them. Okay? Now, Brian Flores got there in 2023. Brian Flores has never beat Jared Goff in Minnesota. KOC has beat Jared Goff 1 time. The last time they played, Jared Goff was 22 for 25, 88% completion rate, 280 yards, 2 touchdowns, no picks. The last time Jared Goff threw a pick versus the Vikings, they were in Minnesota on the 25th of September, 2022. In the last 1, 2, 3, 4 matchups, Jared Goff has not thrown an interception. Prior to the last 4, the 3 before that, he threw 1 interception each. Those are where he threw the 3. So where did he throw them? 2021. In both 2021 matchups, he threw a pick, and in the 2022 match, in the first 2022 matchup, he threw a pick. Hasn't thrown a single pick in the last 4 matchups. So he had 3. His first 3 in Detroit, he threw 1 pick each. His last 4 in Detroit, he's thrown none against the Vikings. So if you're picking the Minnesota Vikings because of the defense and you think their defense is better than our defense, that's fine. But where's the evidence that says that they're better than us? It's a matchup, right? Styles make fights, right? It's a matchup. On paper, their defense is better than our defense, and that's fine. The defense isn't going against the defense. That's not what I'm saying. The defense is going against the offense. Our offense trumps their defense all the time, every single time. Okay? Since Brian Flores has come here, every single time that we've played him, which is 3, this is going to be the 4th, every single time, our offense has trumped their defense. Jared Goff is one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL against the blitz. So when you're bringing all that pressure and he's like, this, Jared Goff is really good against your scheme. That's what I mean by styles make fights. Most quarterbacks aren't great there. Jordan Love, for example, not great against the blitz. You saw what happened to him last week. Jared Goff, great against the blitz. So keep blitzing. Keep blitzing. It doesn't matter. And here's the other thing. I found this out, I think, yesterday or the day before. I think it was yesterday. Shout out Heavies, because there's one. I found this out watching their show. Ben Johnson has a prior relationship with Brian Flores. Y'all know what that prior relationship was? Brian Flores fired him. Brian Flores fired him. Now, he didn't think that he was a bad coach or whatever. The way that he got fired was Brian Flores came into Miami and was the new head coach. Ben Johnson was on the staff. So he had a staff already in mind. He brought a staff with him, and he had to let Ben go. All right, okay. All right, my naysayer. So he had to let Ben Johnson go, and Ben Johnson has responded to that by not losing to him, as they are both coordinators now in the same division. Let me get to some of your comments. So Tactical Sports says, I like when everyone picks against the Lions. Makes them look that much sillier when we win. And it's been looking silly. I can't say all season. I think, in fairness, people have started jumping off of the bandwagon because of all the injuries. And I get it. Like, you're not in Detroit. You don't really know the fabric, the makeup of the team and the culture. You don't know all those things. So it's just the people that say the wildest, craziest things, like Nick Wright. Brenda Willis says, love your content, bro. Could you please crank up the volume a bit? I'm a DAV and hard of hearing. Is my volume low? Let me crank it up. Is that better? Testing. I just don't want to sound like a robot. I think I had the gain up a little bit and I was sounding a little bit robotic. So let me know what the volume sounds like and is it consistent with the natural sound. Big Wolf Status says, now everyone on Minnesota, I mean, they had the 30th easiest schedule in the league. I think you mean the third easiest or because it should be the higher the ease, the easier, the lower the ease, So we probably had like the 30th easiest. Um, but I get what you said. Didn't Goff have a pretty good game against that blitz heavy team? Yes. Yes, all the time. Not to mention our offense wasn't clicking all the way when we played them. And that is another thing that people are overlooking. We were still working some things out. I mean, damn, Jameson Williams had one catch for -4 yards. I don't think that happens in this game. He needs 33 yards to get. And if that didn't happen, he would need, I mean, if he just didn't have any catches that game, he would need 29 yards, right? No, it's not because they haven't played anybody. I'm so tired of all these people talking about their defense. Why is Ben Johnson cooking Flores repeatedly? Probably because Flores fired him in Miami and Ben hasn't forgotten LMFL. Yeah, so you said that too. Not to mention I haven't seen a defense that can handle our defense. The only thing, handle our offense, the only thing that can stop our offense is our offense. Yes, it's Ben Johnson's running up the gut into no hole on 3rd and 5 to make it 4th and 4 for some reason. And then calling a play short of the sticks on 4th and 4. I think it's a game-by-game thing. He may be good versus Vikings historically, but it doesn't mean he's going to be good this Sunday night. That is fair, James Willis. That is fair, 100%. More volume, please. All right, hold on. Let me see. Let me go into this setting here. Let's see if I crank up the main volume. The main volume on my speakers is fine. My input volume is way low. Okay. All right, how about this? I'm sure this is much better because my volume was down to 8. Is that better? I'm sure that's better. There was also the game where Justin Jefferson was shut down. He had like only 40 yards. That's the game that I was talking about that people thought was Jeff Okudah, and it wasn't him at all. It was Jeff Okudah and a whole lot of help over the top. Steve Pacini, much better. Okay, thumbs up. All right, great. Yeah. So if ever, I know I should probably be checking this stuff, but sometimes, you just forget. But, yeah. All right, we're good to go. Penei Sewell is going to score a touchdown. Penei Sewell, noted Vikings killer. Noted Vikings killer. How do I think change? I don't see Flores' scheme is very unique, and he's the only one that runs it in the NFL. Nobody else runs his scheme. So the only way that he changes it is, how many blitzes does he have? It's just like with Ben Johnson. How many trick plays does Ben Johnson have? How many blitzes does Brian Flores have? Because his scheme is based on pressure. So make more exotic blitzes is the only way that he can change it. And then his blitz coverage combos is another thing. And he generally uses the same 2 blitz coverage combos. They will blitz and back off into cover 2 sometimes, but mostly they'll blitz and back off into 0 coverage. So it's still man-to-man coverage when you're blitzing. And I think that the Detroit Lions are, go back to what Terrion Arnold was saying. I think the Detroit Lions are a bad matchup for that type of scheme because we have so many weapons. Again, we are the first offense in the history of the entire NFL, not in the NFC North, not in the NFC, the entire NFL, to have 4,000-yard from scrimmage skill players in the same season. Okay? 4 of them, right? We did it before. Well, no, we didn't do it before. when in 95 when Herman Moore had 1,600 yards, it was him and Barry, but him and Perryman both had 100 catches each. So that was the first time that had happened. But this is why you got JMO out there. You have to allocate coverage to Jameson Williams. You can't cover 1 or cover 0 that man. Okay? You cover 0 Jameson Williams all you want. Okay? Put him on Stephon Gilmore. I love Stephon Gilmore, but Stephon Gilmore is old and he's never been a burner. And if it's a split second where you got to beat a blitz and Jameson Williams runs a 9, there is no way that Stephon Gilmore is keeping up with him. There's no way that Byron Murphy's keeping up with him. It's just not happening. So that's why then you got Amon-Ra St. Brown is going to eat in the middle. You've got when you're bringing linebackers down into a blitz, I mean, obviously you're not bringing all of them, right? So you got to identify who's backing off into coverage. But when you bring so many linebackers down, you're bringing your Dallas Turner down. You're bringing your Blake Cashman down. You're leaving your Van Ginkel. Okay, well, Van Ginkel's not covering both Amon-Ra St. Brown and Sam LaPorta, right? You're going to drop a safety down. So there's a lot. Once you blitz so many people, you got to bring someone to fill their positions because they're leaving vacancies. So that's the only way that he can change it by – if he's going to continue to bring the pressure, because that's really all he knows, right? He had an aha moment, a eureka moment where he was like, you know, most quarterbacks can't adjust to this, so I'm just going to keep blitzing everybody, okay? I think Brian Flores, I'm going to tell you where his defense came from, okay? I'm going to tell you where his defense came from. Remember the Titans. Okay, I'm telling you, I'm Denzel today. I'm Denzel today. All right, you blitz all night. Okay, that's where his defense came from. So he blitzes all night. He probably was watching that movie and was like, "Huh, nobody's ever tried that in the NFL. Let me do it." And he's had a lot of success with it, but it can be beat because blitzing is there's a reason it's risky, right? High risk, high reward situation. So that's a long-winded answer to. There's something I forgot to do, and let me do it quickly. I am going to post a link to my Discord. I did a poll a couple shows ago, and people said that they wanted me to get a Discord for the channel. So I did create a Discord. Let me share it with you. I will pin the link to the chat so that you can join it. We've got in there some Lions chat. And that's, you know, chatting Lions. I'm not going to make like so many different chat rooms that you can't keep up with. So the Lions chat will be just, you know, for the fans of the channel. If, you know, you chat about your Lions, also whatever you want to chat about. It's just a general chat room. And I don't really have rules and everything. I'm not out to control people and what they talk about and all these different things. Let's see, here it is. All right. And the other one is show topics. Like if you have ideas for things that you want to talk about in shows, or you want to send breaking news or tidbits, like, you know, little ancillary news that you could find, just like Ryan Poles not wanting to hire, what's his name, Ben Johnson, because he thinks that Ben Johnson will want him fired. So there's the link. And I will pin this link to the top of the chat. So the message is pinned now. So just smash it, join it, smash like buttons. If you're talking, you're subscribed. We have less likes, then we have people in here. So make sure you smash that like button. And the other one is mailbag questions. So if you think of a question while I'm off air and you want to see me answer it on air, then just send to the mail. So it's 3 rooms. So not a lot of stuff to keep up with. Big Will Status says we need JMO on some quick slants. For sure. And the great thing about JMO, remember the first time that he played the Minnesota Vikings, the first time he caught a ball, the first time it was targeted to him, it was a busted coverage somewhere. I don't know, the DB fell down. Jared Goff found him perfectly, threw that thing in there, and he just waltzed into the end zone. And he was just a deep threat at that time. Now his route tree is fully expanded. And Ben Johnson was talking about JMO the other day, and he was like, it may go unnoticed, but he's very smart. And I know all the haters were like, yeah, I don't notice it. So he said he may go unnoticed. He's very smart. When we say something to him from a coaching standpoint, he gets it right away. Jameson Williams was talking about Ben Johnson and his relationship with Ben Johnson and how that's grown and developed, and how Ben Johnson is always teaching him about. And this is something that I was listening to this yesterday, and I wanted to address this. There were people earlier this season that were harping on the Jameson Williams is a freelancer. There were people that were bringing people on the shows, I think maybe from his like high school days or some area like from St. Louis or whatever, just to crap on Jameson Williams and how he's just this freelancer and blah. Jameson Williams himself said when he was talking about his development and his growth and his relationship with Ben Johnson, that Ben Johnson is always telling him about how the details matter. And he said because in high school and college, whatever, Little League, all these things, Jameson Williams was like, when I was 6 years old playing football, we had everything. We had the Nike sponsorship. It's like we were superstars at 6 years old. Okay? When you first start playing, you line up anywhere you want and you go do whatever you want. And in high school, he was allowed to do the same thing. He was supremely talented, ran track. He says he runs a 4.140. I believe him. Okay? And then you get to Alabama and Tua's just throwing it deep. Okay? Throw it up and let you go get it. All your life as a football player, you are allowed to freelance. You are allowed to do what you want. And then you come to the Detroit Lions, and that is not the system in Detroit. Well, if you're coachable, which he's proven to be, then they're going to be patient with you while you understand, okay, why do I need to be here instead of over there? Why do I need to be over there instead of right here? Why do I need to do this in the play? Once they coach you up and you understand the importance of the system and the importance of the detail, you get 1,000 yards from scrimmage. You see how easy that is? Just understanding what is expected from you. The kid loves football. The kid, did you see the post game with Danny Rogers in San Francisco? I mean, the kid was so excited about what they had just done and the win and then going into this week against the Vikings. He could barely talk, right? He was just trying to find words. He was like, man, listen, listen, look, let me tell you something about, we just did the thing with, come on now. I mean, it wasn't that bad, but he was just really just brimming over with excitement and everything, man. So shout out to JMO, shout out to his development, shout out to the entire coaching staff, the entire organization, getting behind this kid, believing in this kid, because they're in the room with the kid. They're in the room with him. They're in the room. And for all those people that are rooting for him to fail outside of the room, that's why it's not going to happen, because you're outside. You're not inside. Tactical Sport just added. Appreciate you. Once we get more people in there will start getting it active and everything. So, and you guys get it active. You guys get it popping. Williams styles me as a real thinker, cerebral. I don't know if you're being sarcastic. Did you see that the Vikings were trying to tell the NFL that it wasn't fair the Lions? Yeah, man. I mean, bro, just play football, man. I never had a time in my life ever. And that was while I was on the field. That was while I was watching football, watching the NFL. Never in my life did I ever pay attention to someone's uniform as an advantage, right? I paid attention to uniforms just like everybody else. Oh, that uniform is sick. Those are ugly. That's fire. That's not nice. That's how we look at uniforms. But because you're blending in with the back wall, and come on, dude, what are we doing? What are we doing? I'm also tired of hearing folks, ESPN, etc., talking about how the Lions and their injuries. I mean, the injuries are big, but like I said, they don't understand the makeup of this team. They don't understand the coaches that we have. They don't understand the situations that we're putting our players in, the adjustments. I mean, AG, look at the adjustments that he made last week. Sunday night against the San Francisco 49ers, when they put Kirby Joseph in that single high, and they were like, all right, you just roam the midfield. You roam the deep thirds. 2 picks. 2 picks that adjustment produced. And just like AG said he believes that they are not where they want to be on defense at all. But what he does believe is that our top players outwilled their top players. So he said, as long as our top players continue to outwill their top players, and as long as we continue to make these impact plays, then we have exactly what we need to win a Super Bowl. And it's stupid for you to say that we don't, right? Because the big play changes a game, right? That game was nip and tuck, and we were trailing most of the game, and then Kirby Joseph starts picking Brock Purdy off, and that's it. That's the ball game. So it only really, especially when you're in close, tight games, it only takes a play. It only takes 2 plays, and that totally changes the complexion of the entire game. Was there any ruling on that complaint? I guess the Lions could just pay the fine and go ahead with going black in a black end zone. I don't know why their end zones aren't black. But I think the Rams tried to say that before when they started wearing their all blues. The Rams were like, oh, Stafford couldn't see Kirby in the end zone because he was wearing all blue and he was blending in with the back wall. But Jared Goff was able to see his receivers fine in the end zone. So I don't know what kind of complaint that's supposed to be. Like, what would you expect? If you keep screaming about the Lions' injuries, you'll be right at some point. They have been right once. Yes, so it's when you throw things at the wall, you see what sticks, and eventually it's going to stick. It's just like, a broken clock is right twice a day. Even a blind squirrel can find a nut. It's all those things. I'd be like, duh, of course our defense is not good with all the injuries. Yeah, I mean, I see what I think is we were like overwhelming favorites for winning the Super Bowl. And the media has the SOL mentality. They couldn't wait. They couldn't wait they were like, dang, is this real? Is this Lions team like about to go undefeated for the rest of the season after we psyched ourselves out and didn't play outgained, doubled the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in yardage at home. Obviously, some terrible calls terrible non-calls. I mean, the Jared Goff threw 2 picks that game. The second one was obvious pass interference. Like that was like the level of when Jared Goff benefited from a similar call in New Orleans when the Rams were playing the Saints in the playoffs. I think that was the NFC Championship game, right? Clear, obvious pass interference. The refs didn't call it. The Rams go on to win that game, and then they go to the Super Bowl. And that was the Super Bowl against Bill Belichick and the Patriots when the Rams scored, I think, 3 points or something like that. It was 13-3. But that was a level of interference that wasn't called in Detroit versus Tampa Bay, and we only lost the game by 4. So if you don't get that interception, what is the final score going to be? So is the defensive playbook more complicated than no. No, I played offense and defense. The defensive playbook is pretty simple. As long as you know what a coverage is, and as a corner, like I had to know my responsibilities in coverage. If you call man, obviously that was easy. But okay, maybe it's press man, maybe it's off man. If you call cover 2, I had to know I'm covering the flats. If you call cover 3, I had to know what I was doing. If you call cover 4, quarters, whatever, that was my responsibility. Now, it's best for you to know other people's responsibilities as well so that you can be very cohesive, but it's not as hard to learn a defense. Because you're on the defensive. You're not on the offensive. So on the offensive, you are doing. On the defensive, you're reacting. So offense is much harder to learn. That was an ugly Super Bowl for sure. Kirby, no Pro Bowl. That equals 2 more picks for KJ, as if he needed any more motivation. Pick 6 income. I hope you're right. I hope Sam Darnold does get Sam Darnold-ish. I hope he sees some ghosts. Listen, I know Ford Field, man, is going to be rocking. And the thing that has plagued the defense over the last few games, which is just, aside from the Chicago Bears game, we had the Buffalo Bills game, which was big game. We had the San Francisco game, which wasn't big. I'm going to tell you how disinterested I was in the San Francisco game after I make the point. So you had the San Francisco game, which was big for our players, but it ultimately didn't mean anything. And then you have this game. The Buffalo game and the San Francisco game, the defense came out lethargic. They didn't have the energy. I don't think you're going to have that in this game. One, because the Vikings have been talking so much crap. Their fans have been talking so much crap. The bulletin board material has been there. They've provided a lot of it. So I don't think that you're going to have that problem. 2, it's a divisional game. 3, it is for the division. 4, it is for the 1 seed. But, I don't think that the defense is going to have a problem coming out there like they had against the Buffalo Bills and San Francisco 49ers. But I'm going to tell you how disinterested it is. And if you were in the live stream, if you were at the watch party with me, I was trying, but my energy level was just like, I don't care about this game, man. I don't even remember the Jameson Williams rushing touchdown. Like, I saw it on Twitter. I kid you not. Lions posted it on Twitter, and I was like, when did that happen? Y'all know me. J-Mo's my guy. I'm the official keeper of the J-Mo. I do not remember that touchdown. I was just sitting there looking at the screen. I was probably talking to the chat. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't remember that touchdown. What was the score? Does anybody know what the score was at once Jameson Williams scored? What was it? What did that give us? Big Will status. Also, I'm tired of people, ESPN, and others about them facing Tampa or the Rams. Like what? We're 8-0 on the road, and who gonna outscore us? Yeah, we don't care about going on the road. I mean, if you go to Los Angeles on the road, it's a home game for you anyway because their fans don't show up. Being that I haven't been to Ford Field, I'm picking one game next year to make it back to Detroit and get me a game. If we win the Super Bowl, I'm going to the first game to see the ring ceremony. I'm definitely gonna try to be back in Detroit for training camp. I mean, that's what, 7 months away. So depending on, what the finances are, as far as I don't have to have a place to stay. I'll just stay with my sister in Kalamazoo. But as far as like how much work can you miss or whatever that case. So I don't know how long I'm going to be there. I at least want to be there for a week or two, but who knows? So, but I would love to be able to go to a game, even if I can't, like, shoot, what's the second week of training camp is when the preseason starts, right? We get 2 weeks and then we get preseason. So I might even just try to be there for a preseason game just to go, Because if I'm coming like all the way back there, I got to go to a game. So whether it's preseason, whatever, I just want to go to Ford Field because, we sell out preseason games too. So. All right. So last time I did give my score prediction. I'm going to say my score prediction is still going to be 35-31. I do think it's going to be a very, very close game. I don't think, again, you guys know me. I'm going to tell you my rule once again, and it might not be the last time because we're probably going to see one of these divisional opponents in the playoffs. But my rule, we know you. We hate you. We want to ruin your season. And obviously, with this being for all the marbles and both of the fates being, you're just going to swap fate, right? Whoever wins is the number 1 seed. Whoever loses is the number 5 seed. It goes both ways for both teams. Whoever wins has the bye. Whoever loses goes on the road. It's just that simple. So it's a gotta-have-it game. I think everybody's going to leave everything on the field. I do expect Anzo to play. And I think that's going to be huge for us as far as in both the running game and the passing game. We know that Anzalone is one of the leaders on defense. They call that man Thor, not just because he has long hair. It's because he lays the hammer. He's going to be the calming presence for Jack Campbell. AG was like, Jack Campbell's always on 10. He's very serious, and he's always, up here. So Anzalone being there is going to help that out. Josh Pascal. This is a guy that is very good at setting the edge, but he missed a ton of tackles in the San Francisco 49ers game, and I need him to correct that. Technique is fine. All these things are fine, but he needs to make the tackles. We don't need to be giving this team second opportunities. The tackling has to be cleaned up. All of the things that we usually say. But, expect Minnesota to come into Detroit to try to give us their best shot. As I said, it's big. They're going to be without Pat Jones because of dirty Tucker Kraft. Okay, let's start the narrative. It's not even a narrative. let's start calling Tucker Kraft dirty. Let's start calling players on the Minnesota Vikings dirty. so that they can lose money, right? Christina Marie Rossi, what is going on? Nice to see you again. What if Detroit loses this Sunday night, has to go on the road, then beats the Vikings in Minnesota? That would be crazy. That would be crazy, but then that would be par for the course, right? Because it's like, well, at that point, neither one of us has won at home, so you should be nervous. We beat you in Minnesota. You beat us in Detroit. Now we got to go back to Minnesota. You should be nervous, But, I mean, I expect Detroit to win. There is the thing floating around, and I said this before, but then somebody was like, well, we can't, because I was like, do we really need to be at home? Because the only games we lost were at home. I think I said this during the Buffalo game. And I was like, if we don't come back to win this, the only losses that we will have are at home. And that has held true. But because we need the bye. And here's what I say about the bye. The importance of the bye for me is different than other people. The importance of the bye for me is you eliminate one game and you only got to win 2 games to get to the Super Bowl. We're not getting people back after the bye. We might possibly, I think Carlton Davis is an NFC Championship game guy. Who else? Derek Barnes is not coming back through that door. Marcus Davenport is not coming back through that door. Malcolm Rodriguez is not coming back. Aleem McNeil is not coming back. Who else? Right? So the guys that we have, Aidan Hutchinson is again running in the pool and everything. He's been telling guys at the facility, look, just get to the Super Bowl and I'll be there. Okay? Because you got another week off before the Super Bowl. So yeah, we could get some guys back at that point. But again, what guys? We're talking about Carlton Davis if he doesn't come back for the NFC Championship game. We're talking about Aidan Hutchinson. But there are a lot more guys that ain't coming back. So I just think that it makes your path to the Super Bowl easy. You don't have to travel. You stay at home. You get that home field advantage. You get Ford Field rocking for 2 playoff games. Obviously, it's a big boost to the city, restaurants, eateries, establishments, and things of that nature. The quote-unquote tourism, if you will. So it's great for the city. But as far as the injuries, if you're saying just for the injuries, it really doesn't help us much. And it takes away a game where someone can get injured. Right. But we pretty much got what we got. And this is who we're going to ride with mostly for the rest. Khalif is questionable, I believe. Let me check. The Lions released their injury report. Let me see. All right. So the Lions injury report, I know whatchamacallit is out, which freaking Emmanuel Moses is out with an illness, bro. I don't know. All right. So David Montgomery, of course, is out. Emmanuel Moses is out with an illness. Alex Anzalone, Khalif Raymond, and Craig Reynolds are questionable. Craig Reynolds has a back. I guess he just popped up on that injury report today or yesterday. So Anzo and Khalif are questionable. They've been full participants in practice, so I feel like they'll probably play. Didn't every college football team that had a bye lose? I don't know. Again, that's another thing for the Discord. Y'all gonna have to send me players because I have been slacking on college football. I'm not watching it. I haven't watched it this year at all. Monty, maybe. Yeah, Monty is one that I forgot. Yeah, he's definitely. But I meant defensively. Offensively is not where we struggle. If we need to score 40 points, we're going to score 40. Now, we needed to score 49, and we didn't get that done. But, Khalifa's a threat anytime he has a ball. He's like me, gray light. All right, gray light, I see you. Home field advantage, man. Yes, home field advantage is necessary, but we're 8-0 on the road. If any team doesn't need home field advantage, like they said whatever happens, if they win this game, they'll be fine. If they lose this game, they'll be fine. Very comfortable on the road. You went on the road 8 times the entire season and lost none of them. So the home field advantage looks like a myth based on this season. I'm not saying it is. I'm not saying that. Okay, but I'm just saying based on this season, it looks that way, kinda. I mean, 8-0 on the road. We lost 2 at home. I'm just, Oh, Mel, okay. Mel Gray Light, I got you. I thought that was me and a exclamation mark. Okay. We get Davis, Khalif, and Montgomery. We should be good. Like I said, I think Khalif might even play this game. Doesn't matter where the Lions play. All roads go through Detroit. That is true. We travel probably the best in the league other than Bills Mafia. What up, though, Paul Thomas? Make sure y'all join the Discord if you have not. No, you didn't want to kick it to Mel Gray at all. You didn't want who is a kick returner that you wish was on this Lions team right now? I got one, and I'm thinking like all time, whatever you want. Who is your kick returner? I got one. All good, James. All good. It wasn't you. I misread it. It was me. It wasn't you. It was me. Iron Man Raymond back means 15 to 25 yards more on special teams per play. Yes. And it also means that you don't have to be worried about Maurice Alexander dropping one. Robbie Martin, 1989. Okay. That guy, Ross, Mel Gray. I got one for y'all. Eddie Drummond. Okay. Y'all ready for mine? The Rocket, Raghib Ismail. I would love to see him suit up for the Detroit Lions right now in his former form. Not because I don't know what he's doing now. He probably ain't a Rocket no more. He might be a bottle rocket. You know what I mean? John Ross. Oh, Devin Hester. Oh, you mean a few years ago? I don't know. Yeah, the Rocket, and was his brother, Caudry. His brother played for the Vikings. Hell, I would take Desmond Howard. Bo Jackson as a kick returner? Come on now. Bo Jackson as a running back, for sure. Yeah, Eddie Drummond was a beast. Too bad the teams he was on weren't the greatest. Billy White Shoes Johnson, electric. See, I don't remember Billy White Shoes. I just remember his highlights because I wasn't around when I wasn't around when Billy White Shoes was playing. Did Desmond play for the Lions? Am I tripping? I feel like he played for the Lions for briefly. Okay. All right. I knew my memory wasn't bad. He did play for the Lions. All right. So like I said, 35-31. That's my score prediction. Detroit Lions win. Um, Another reason that I want the Detroit Lions to win, aside from all the advantages that we'll have the bye week, we'll have home field advantage. They won't have to leave until they go to the Super Bowl. So I want the Viking fans shut that up. Okay, I want the Vikings fans to shut that up. I want the national media to get tight. Now, when they're, that pulling on the ascots and the collars and the bow ties and I want the Chris Broussards and the Nick Wrights. I want them to, esophagus get a little bit tight. You know what I'm saying? Make it difficult to breathe in there. Cause hey, you get the bye week, you win the first playoff game in the divisional, then you go to the NFC Championship game, and they're gonna be like, hey, and you win that NFC Championship game, then they go to the Super Bowl, they're gonna be like, oh, I can't breathe, I can't breathe, it's tight in here. Because hey, one thing that those pundits do not want to see is the Detroit Lions winning the Super Bowl. 41-34 Lions, that might be it. You might need to get to 40. 40-31 Lions. Yeah, you might need to get to 40. Have you considered a live show dedicated to Lions or football trivia? That's something we could do in the off season. That's why I'm saying, like, y'all join the Discord, and then we'll get, like, it's really gonna be helpful in the off season because in the regular season is all football all the time. If the Lions win the Super Bowl, the fans would rush the field. Yeah, I mean, the fans that could afford it. The fans that could afford it, bro, because them Super Bowl tickets, them Super Bowl tickets, it's probably people that are going to be tapping into their life savings, their kids' college funds, everything, just to get a ticket to go to the Super Bowl if the Lions get there. The best returner question? Yeah, I mean, anything that you guys like to see, man, we'll get to it because without the chat, without the people that interact, we don't have shows. We just have me talking to a screen. Phil, I have coached. You guys want to hear a breakdown of how I came to coach? That's something I said that I would talk about if anybody wants to hear it. It is very interesting, but it's, I guess. I guess. But if y'all want to hear it, I'll talk about it. So let me know in the chat. All right, Phil, you twisted my arm. So, I'll give you the abridged story because it is kind of a long story. So I used to be an English teacher. So when I left university, that's when I left the States. I traveled to Qatar, started teaching English. And while I was there was a nice community of Americans. And we started, basically I was directed to someone a Qatari guy who was doing flag football, and they were looking for coaches. And I was like, I'm gonna play. I'm not gonna coach because what is that gonna do? You know what I mean? It's flag football. Guys playing flag football in the park. What's the point of coaching them? Coaching them from what? But then I had a friend who's from Philly. And he was like, nah, we should coach. So basically, I was playing, and then I started coaching, and it was, like high school kids, some adults. It was a mixture of things. So basically, we started coaching them. And if you guys, after the show, if you guys want to look up IFAF, okay, this is what you're gonna see a lot of this in 2028, because this is the International Federation of American Football, which is going to be dealing with the flag football in the Olympics. So basically, started coaching. They have a holiday in Qatar called Sports Day. It's in February. Basically, you get the day off, but you have to go and participate in some sort of sporting activity. So there was an activity. We met another guy who was from the UK. He somehow had some ties with NFL Europe. I don't know if he was at a training camp or he was at some coaching seminar. I don't know, but so he was dealing with these kids from a private school. So we met each other. We were like, hey, you want to get a game? So yeah, got the game. It was the first ever flag football game in Qatar. We had local media out there, everything, right? We won the game, of course. Then I think we had a few more games with them, and then the U.S. military caught wind of what we're doing because they have bases out there. So they got in contact with us. We started doing some tournaments with the soldiers. They came out to where we were because they had a field on their base, and it was just like a bunch of torn up AstroTurf. It was terrible. So they came out to us. We had a stadium out there called Aspire. It was like they are creating soccer athletes. It's a school for that. They have a dome and everything. So fast forward to, we do that, and then somehow we got in contact with a prince from Kuwait who he was in charge of the Flag Football Federation in Kuwait. So American kids mostly. I forgot this one. No, I didn't. Okay, I'll keep it in there. But so we had American kids. We had kids from all over, right? So we got in somehow contact with this guy from Kuwait, and he wanted us to come over. So we came over. We went over to Kuwait. And this was during like the IFAF World Championships. We saw, IFAF deals with full contact and they deal with flag. So Kuwait had a full contact team. We saw, I think Mexico beat the brakes off of United States and their team, their international team. And then we had a meeting where we met the head of IFAF, and they wanted us to, and it was me and my friend. Now the Qatari guy, he had been trying to do some things, but really nobody was rocking with him because he was pretty much a snake. But so me and my friend got Qatar, the country of Qatar, into IFAF. Okay, we were at the meetings. We're in the they had a tribunal where they voted us in off the strength of me and my friend. So our quarterback on the youth team, who he wound up going to the States later to play high school football in California, and he did do like he went to some small college in California and played a little football. He was from Denmark. So the first full contact that I ever coached was in Denmark, because he was like, you guys should come to do some coaching, some guest coaching this summer to Denmark. He was like, I'll talk to my coaches, and hook it up. So we went to Denmark that year. We did like some camps I coached running backs and DBs. My friend is a lineman, so he coached a lineman. I think he's currently a coach at Malvern High School in Philly. I think it's Malvern. So we did all that, and then the next year I went back to Denmark myself. My friend was supposed to go, but he couldn't go. I went back, and I took one of our players. I met his dad in the States. They were from Trinidad. I met his dad in the States when I was in high school, and he wound up coming to Qatar while I was there. And his son, super fast. Like the kid was like super fast. He was like a 4.2 guy. And I took him out with me to Denmark to try to get him a contract. And so we went around to a few of the teams that were out there, and I was just kind of like showing him. He did some practice with some of the teams, and I created an Instagram called Extra Point Consultancy. This was, if you guys want to follow it, it's no longer really active, but Extra Point Consultancy was the name of our company. I created an interview series with the international players. So I started interviewing people while I was in Denmark and just like talking to me about their international football journey, like how they came to play, how they got into football. Like, you know, of course we had to call it American football, but yeah, all of that stuff. So I created that series. And then when I got back from Denmark, I started reaching out to people from France and Japan, like everywhere. So if you go, like, you'll probably have to scroll through a lot, you know, but I've got a lot of player interviews. There's like female players from female football. There's everything, right? So fast forward to after the IFAF thing, the Qatari guy, I told you he was a snake. So basically he parlayed the success that we had with flag football and the IFAF. He became the head of the Rugby Federation, and then we were out. Right. So there was a league, a full contact league in Dubai, and it was run by some American guys. Now the Qatari guy had been trying to get into that league, and they were like, nah, okay. I don't know how they got wind of us being out, but they reached out to us, and they were like, we want to get you guys a team. So basically we are responsible for the first and probably still the only full contact football games in Qatar. We got this team. It was called the Desert Swarm. So we were the owners of the team. We were the coaches of the team. I was, of course, the offensive coordinator. Had the craziest playbook. I got to find my playbook. Playbook was crazy. My formations were crazy, right? So we played 2 games in Qatar. We traveled to Dubai. We played 2 games there. And then we were supposed to be getting in for the next season. And not to get into politics, but this is when Trump came to Saudi Arabia. They had a Middle Eastern summit, and he told everyone at the summit that Qatar was supporting terrorism. So then there was a whole blockade, and we weren't allowed to participate in the league anymore because you couldn't fly to Dubai. You couldn't, like, you usually, I mean, it was a 45-minute flight, but you couldn't do that anymore. So if you wanted to go to Dubai from Qatar, you had to fly to Oman. Oman is the only one that stayed neutral, and they didn't blockade Qatar. It was crazy because Qatar didn't really produce anything. So like all of their milk and their juices and all these things were coming from Saudi Arabia. So they couldn't get any of that stuff anymore. So, you know, it was a very interesting time. But yeah, that was my coaching journey. I never really wanted to coach, but I guess it came natural to me to teach people how to play football because I was a teacher. So that is a long story. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you have any questions, let me see. Hiring you or volunteer, what do you mean? So Tactical Sports says, I was a coach for my son's track team, started the season and COVID shut it down. My son then moved to flag football and they wanted me to coach the team, but I only wanted to coach the defense. Uh, that's what's up. Fun fact: my father was my first coach. I was 9 years old, and he got basically roped into it the same way. I think they had like fired the coach or the coach quit or whatever. So they saw him bringing me to practice every day. And of course, I was the star player. I played safety and quarterback as a 9-year-old. What up, though, Lions? Rule, Bears, Jewel. How's my boy Don doing tonight? Hey, we doing good, man. Just getting into my coaching journey. I'm sure you probably answered this, but have you heard if AA is playing Sunday or not? He's questionable. Don't know if he's playing. He's questionable. But hopefully. Basically scouting. What are we shouting? Coaching journey. Where did I get staff from? Nowhere. I was the whole staff. I was the offensive staff. My friend was the defensive staff. He was the head coach. I was the assistant head coach. We didn't have a whole lot of. We didn't have help. It was just us. It was just us. But yeah, it was fun times. It was interesting times. I had reached out to this guy in Poland who made new uniforms for us. They were gonna be sick. So yeah, I still have some samples of those. Well, the only two samples that were made: a game type of jersey that goes over your shoulder pads, and just a regular, jersey that you could wear like for merch purchases. So yeah, that was cool. I mean, there were other things that I left out, like we were almost about to do something with Coach Snoop. That fell through for some reason. I don't remember why. I think it was just the monetary, because basically my idea was to do a world tour. So basically, because we were in touch. The guy that started managing our social media was in touch, or he was the cameraman for Coach Snoop. So basically, my idea was to take Coach Snoop and his kids, and we would go to different countries and play football games against, the people out there. Like, first of all, coach them up, whatever, play some games, and then like take the top couple players or the top 3 players or whatever from, let's say, where we played in Germany or Denmark or wherever, and they just like add them to the team and do kind of like a world tour that way. That was my idea. But obviously, the logistics of it all, just, it wasn't going to work out. But, we had people that would have been sponsors for it and all that stuff. It would have been cool. So the equipment, we got it from the league in Dubai because they were a full contact league. So they had all of that stuff. No, dude. English teacher, bro. If you wanna to travel the world and you don't have a bunch of money, just become an English teacher. Yeah, everybody needs English, so you have all types of. Now the Denmark thing and all that stuff, that happened through football. That didn't happen through English. But what happened through English is me being in Qatar and actually meeting the people and having the opportunity to go to Denmark and to go to Sweden, and things of this nature. The age group of the players, they had all age groups. They had adults that paid to play, but our groups, they were high school, so they were like 15 to 18. Said Master Pimp. I don't think Master Pimps travel. Fun fact: my uncle through marriage, my mother's sister married a pimp. I don't know how. I really don't know how. But his end didn't come. His end didn't come peacefully. I'll just say that. Your brother did English teaching in Belize. Yeah, I mean, getting to travel, man. I mean, obviously, it's different from other people who are traveling to vacation, but just working and being able to travel to different places, um, and just see the world on somebody else's dime. I mean, I got offered a job in China. Um, I was gonna take it, but I was in Australia at the time, and they couldn't figure out how to do my visa without me traveling back to the States, and then they wanted me to pay to travel back. I was like, bro, I'm not doing that. I am not doing that. We were trying to go to Japan, because Japan, they're nice out there in football. I don't know if you guys had seen this, but they recently, I think it was a few months ago when they did the Worlds, the I-5 Worlds, and Japan was beating America's ass. But we were trying to go out there, and I made contact with the American guy who was basically in charge of one of the teams out there, and he was hating, bro. He did not, he did not want us to come out there. uh, no, I'm not special ops. Will there be an NFL Tokyo? Bro, that would have to be very far off. But an NFL game in Tokyo, I could see that happening. And again, I don't know when, but I could see it happening. Yeah, when I was in the Marines over in Japan, it was pretty nice. So, Japan, fun fact, I think, I don't know, okay, don't quote me, but obviously the baseball thing came from um, D-Day. So, back when America was stationed in Japan and everything, that's how they got to baseball. And I think the influence of football was a similar thing, the military. No, Phil, I'm not CIA. I'm not CIA. The only ops I am is Black Ops, and that's on the PlayStation. uh, yeah, but now with flag football getting into with flag football being the Pro Bowl, and then flag football also being in the Olympics, that's just gonna open the doors. Jordan Mailata was here, I think, in September because they have an NFL academy now that they opened up here in Australia. So, I mean, they have a they have a league here in Australia. I think it's called Gridiron Australia or something like that. Um, but it's a lot of dudes that never played the game, and they enjoy the power of trying to act like they know what they're talking about. So, the last time I was here before this time, I tried to reach out to some of the people to like run some camps, and couldn't get any responses because, again, like I said, because my stepson used to play for one of the teams, and that was the coach. Never played, but he was just really couldn't be told couldn't be told any different. And obviously my stepson, I coached him before, like he was my quarterback. So when he's like, but this is, and the dude didn't want to hear nothing, you know what I mean? So that's what it was. You guys, if you haven't already, make sure you click the link to the Discord, the pinned link up at the top of the chat. Like I said, we just got a regular Lions chat room in there. We've got a mailbag chat room, mailbag questions. So if you guys have any mailbag questions that you think of, anything you want my opinion on something that you see throughout the day, just shoot me a mailbag question and I will answer it live. And then we have a show topics question, which is going to be very helpful during the off season. Because during the regular season, the show topics make themselves. Off season, obviously, you've got your draft, you've got your free agency. Draft is going to be something that I'm gonna need names because I am not a college football watcher. I have not watched it at all this year. I don't know. Like, I watched it last year when Michigan won the national championship, but I feel like college football is. I used to be real big on it. Obviously, it's a direct correlation with the Lions sucking. Okay, as the Lions suck, you needed to have some winning football that you watch. So you watched Michigan, But then as the Lions started to get better and better, like, my desire to watch college football has gotten less and less. So, when we're doing our draft preparation, fun fact, I've never done a mock draft. So when I do a mock draft this draft season, it'll be the first one that I've ever done. I've just never been a mock draft guy. Dude gonna be spreading all kinds of rumors. No, did you hear your boy Chef was not a chef? He was actually 5-star Gorilla Crip Master Pimp in a secret agent special ops. That would be cool, man. that would only make the legend grow. That's not one of those rumors that's gonna hurt you. How long have you been in Australia? Been thinking about taking my daughter. She has a friend that lives out there. I have been here going on 2 years, but I've been back and forth for the last 19 years. My first time coming here was 2005. Married my wife here, and I was back. I was in Qatar. I was in Malaysia. I was in Turkey, Indonesia. And just, I think full time I sent the family back here 8 years ago. So yeah, my kids were born in Qatar, all that. Phil says I mock the mock drafts. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. It's people like to do them. I don't know. I just never gotten into them. What up, though, J-Rod? Hey, J-Rod, I got the Discord link up there, so make sure you join it. You missed the story about my coaching journey. I've never been to Antarctica. I've never, been in Canada tons of times because obviously there are neighbors to the north, but never been to Antarctica. Never. Like, I've seen Antarctica on television, heard the stories, never someplace that I wanted to venture to. And J-Rod, I'm not going to go through it again because it's going to be, but you can, if you rewind probably about 15 minutes, you'll be able to pick it up. So that's a good thing about live shows. You never really missed anything. Not gonna lie, not even sure where Qatar or however you spell it. Well, it's Qatar. Is ever even heard of it before today? I'm sure you've heard of Dubai, right? So it's right next to Dubai. It's a 45-minute flight. All good, J-Rod. All good. If you have not joined the Discord, make sure you do. Coach hockey around Traverse City, a lot of fun. I used to be big into hockey too. When I was a kid, I think all kids in Detroit used to watch the Red Wings because why wouldn't you? Kid exchange. Yeah, that sounds rough. That does sound rough. Uh, yeah, I mean, Michigan is a melting pot type of place for sure. You know, just look at Dearborn, where we were talking about Dearborn the other day, going and getting smelt. Uh, so Lee 313 was here. Tactical Sport was here. We were talking about all that. The Vikings are, I think, only going to be without Pat Jones, which is he's an outside linebacker. He was taken out by Tucker Kraft. Tucker Kraft took out his knees. Um, Harrison Smith was on the injury report. Um, Let me check it. So the Vikings' final injury report is as follows. Uh, so Patrick Jones knee didn't practice. He's not gonna be. He's out. Chemo Greju Hill is Camel Great Gruje Hill is questionable. Fabian Moreau, cornerback, is questionable. And nobody else has any designations. So Stephon Gilmore, Harrison Smith, CJ Ham, Ed Ingram, Aaron Jones, and Josh Oliver, they're all going to be playing. So the only person they're going to be for sure 100% missing is Patrick Jones. Man, Smelt, I don't know why you didn't like it. Smelt, the intriguing part about Smelt is that you can just fry it hard and eat the entire thing. Head, tail, everything. Bones, it's a very low maintenance fish. You're there for the fish. You're not there for the bones. You're not there for anything else. You just eat it. Um, Qatar is a great place. It's very hot. I'll tell you that much. It's super duper hot. Um, Tactical Sports says I've been to Qatar, Iraq, Kuwait, UAE, Saudi Arabia, as far as the Middle East is concerned. So Iraq is the only one I haven't been to. I've been to all of the places, but Iraq, Iran. But I know you're in the Marines, so that's the reason. But Iraq is not a place that I would voluntarily visit. Just can't do it. Where is Stephen Gilmore? What happened to that kid? What did happen to Stephen Gilmore? I guess somebody picked him up. Let me see. That's a good question. Stephen Gilmore. But didn't I tell y'all? I told y'all. I said let's bring in Stephon Gilmore. I told y'all. And then the damn Vikings brought him in training camp. Stephen Gilmore. Wow. Stephen Gilmore has the same birthday as me. I did not know that. Um, he's a free agent. He hasn't been picked up. Your grandma loved to pickle it. Now, pickle. I've never had pickled smell. I didn't know people pickled it, but I guess people pickle sardines, don't they? Smelt runs in the spring a mile from here. Like I haven't had smelt in so long. That's one of my like fond childhood memories, going to Dearborn with my dad and picking up smelt. Just a whole probably pound of fried smelt and just housing it. Yeah, so Stephen Gilmore is available. We'll probably bring him back in the offseason and see what his development has been. Um, you would think that he's somebody that they'll keep in the pipeline, especially since AG loves so much man coverage. Smelt fry for sure. Let's have a smelt fry. Um, all right, guys. The people of the house are starting to move around, so I'm gonna go ahead and get out of here. Make sure you smash that like button. Um, Iraq has some nice places. If you go up north with the Kurds, it was cool. Almost looked like an American city. Um, no, I feel you. It's just the voluntary part, like voluntarily going there. It's not. It's not on my list. We could dip a 30-gallon garbage can full in about 10 minutes. You talking about smelt? A jumbo perch kind of guy? Yeah, perch is good. Um, bass was also bass is pretty good, but we just talking about fish. Um, I would say that smelt is probably my favorite fish to eat, just based on the ease and the taste. Um, but yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and get out of here, guys. Appreciate you for hanging out. Hope you enjoyed. Just like always, if you have not joined the Discord yet, please do join the Discord. Um, Hold on. Okay. Speaking of corners, man, really hope to see Mosley get some act. Mosley's inactive. He is out. Motown Mitch. He's dealing with some sort of illness, and I'm sick. I mean, you want to have sympathy for the guy. You understand the human element, but come on, bro. Like, I can't just keep missing games, man. You're healthy. Okay, you have an illness. I don't know if you have the flu. It's really people probably aren't talking about COVID anymore. I don't know what the reason is, but come on, bro. If it's not an external injury, it's an internal injury. So I don't know, bro. There's 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 no reason to bring him back next season unless you're bringing him back on the coaching staff. Because if the man just continuously cannot suit up when he appears to be healthy, and then when he appears to be healthy, he has a setback. Something happened to his hamstring. Something happened to this. Something happened to that. It's like, I get it, and I understand that he's a great mentor and he's a great veteran presence in the locker room, and just keep that veteran presence on the coaching staff. No problem. But as a player, if he ain't going to play, he can't be a player. All right, man. So I'm going to head out, guys. Peace and fish grease, as Tactical Sport says. Make sure, again, join the Discord, smash the like button, subscribe. I know if you're talking, you're subscribed. Share the stream. I need a new reminder because I never share this stream anymore. I always forget. So Just a Fan was my reminder. So if anybody wants to be my reminder, beginning of the show, remind me to share the stream, so that we can get out there. It's the race to 1,000. I gotta get the channel up to 1,000. I had somebody else's channel up to 1,000, so I'm trying to get mine up there to benefit from it. So once again, guys, smash the like button, share, make sure you are telling other people to subscribe, and make sure you join the Discord. It is the pinned link up above at the top of the chat. That is the Discord. Join it, start talking at it, start getting it live, and we will see you guys next time. The Motor City Cats are back at it. Came to give you stats, not static. Whatever you do. I mean, I can't tell you what to do, but if you want to take my advice, make sure you keep your Lions news pragmatic. We are out. Peace.